Good day, everybody. It is Monday, start of a brand new week. I hope you're having a fantastic day. My topic today on DADMOMISMS is how I developed my empath superpower. Well, what do I mean by that? Some of you that are listening to this know who Ed Milet is. And Ed has talked about in his posts, he's talked about it on specific podcasts, YouTube videos in regards to what is your superpower? Have you ever thought about it? I know myself, my power that after Ed challenged us to figure it out and think about it was empathy. I'm an empath. And what does that mean? Well, I pick up on everybody else's stuff. I can sometimes be way too kind. I can get trampled on. I can get stomped down because of the fact that not just because they are doing something to me, but I can pick up on their pain. I can pick up on their heartache. And it's terrible. In some respects, it's really terrible. In other respects, it's great because you can be that person that understands compassion and being empathetic to others and helping them lift them up when they're sad. So being an empath, that being my superpower, is not a bad thing per se, but sometimes in life it has. So the story I'm going to tell you today is about a young Dwight, a very young man, actually young boy, pardon me, elementary school. I had asthma my whole life and bad allergies. And the medications and prescriptions we have today to control asthma and allergies did not exist back then. So unfortunately, I got bullied and picked on a lot, right? Other kids that, were not sick or were healthy that could play the sports and stuff. I'd try to play the sports and I couldn't play very long. And I'd get bullied because of it. And I got bullied because I was an asthmatic. And it can progress all the way from elementary school all the way into high school, right? And I was always a person that never belonged to cliques or groups. So I had friends from all walks of life, from the jocks to the brains to, the wastoids, I guess you'd call them, the stoners. I had friends in all of them. But the resounding theme when I look back at it is the friends that I had in each of those groups were lost souls. And my empathetic nature, I was able to see the problems and the fears and tribulations and them being scared. And even though I was scared, I'd stick up for people. And it would cause even more problems, right? And to a point that, then I'd retreat. And it was like a roller coaster ride, up and down throughout my life. And, then the next major thing that helped me become more of an empath when I look back at it was in grade 9. So I was about 14 years old. I was diagnosed with a degenerative disease called scoliosis. Some of you might know what scoliosis is, but you can certainly Google it. It's a degenerative spine disease that is genetic. It actually, you can look back in my relatives, like our DNA, my dad, my grandpa, great-grandpa, you can actually see it in pictures of them, the fact that they had scoliosis. What does scoliosis do to you? Well, you have, for an example, just in the last, I'd say, decade, I've lost 2 inches of my height because scoliosis is something that, it is degenerative. I won't get into the details of what your spine's going through. But, I got diagnosed with that when I was 14 years of age. And I had to start wearing a full-on brace. Full cage brace. Went right around my head. It held my head in place like this. Bar down here. Pushed my gut in. 2 bars along the back. And I wore that for 3 years of my life. 3 years of my life. Do you think that the bullying got a little bit worse? So I was an asthmatic. Couldn't do a lot of sports. Couldn't necessarily play at the same level of all these people. And all of a sudden now I come to school one day and I'm wearing a full back brace. And you wouldn't believe the teasing and the humiliation I went through and the bullying. It was just horrible. But it taught me something though. It taught me that, once I get through this, and I knew I'd get through it. I knew the end result. I was smart enough even at 14 to know that I would never, ever put somebody through what others have done to me. That I would understand, I would be caring, I'd be compassionate of their being picked on. right? Be compassionate of their trials and what they're going through, no matter what it was, whether it was a physical disability, a mental disability, because I was basically bullied, right? So right into I had to wear that from grade 9 till grade 11. Talk about being a buzzkill for school. So, I look back and why is my superpower empathy or being an empath? Well, like Ed said, I remember one of the comments he mentioned when I put that on one of his posts. He said, I was the first person, I took a screenshot of that. He says, I was the first person that ever said that empathy was a superpower. And he said, I was so right. He said, it's too bad that people don't realize that empathy is a superpower. Being able to listen to others, give good conversation, constructive criticism, advice, or just be a listening ear and actually genuinely feel it in your heart and feel for that person is a very valid superpower. And mine started all the way back to when I was in elementary school, having asthma, not being able to play with sports, to junior high, having to wear a full back brace for 3 years because of my scoliosis, to the list goes on. As an empath, I became more of an empathetic person too when I got separated, divorced, and I seen what my kids were going through. And even having conversations today with one of my daughters. Sometimes we just need to understand and listen to people and understand they need to vent. And an empath is a perfect person for doing that and a superpower that I've been blessed by God to have. So I appreciate all of you. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Peace out. God bless you all. We'll talk to you tomorrow.